activities that were planned.
I think, Governor, through the chair, you didn't get me. I am not saying on this purpose. I'm talking about the commercial bank accounts you have as an entity. And maybe you have answered part one of my question. On part two, can you provide a schedule of the expenses of 11.7 million Kenya shillings on this special purpose account? Thank you, Chair.
Since we are discussing this, fund, I have indicated that the commercial bank account is only one, and that is for the emergency. This other one, if you're asking for all as an entity, that is a different question, which we do not have the answers offered.
So in short, you are saying you don't know the number of commercial bank accounts
for the whole county?
Yes.
No, that cannot
leave
be
out the facility improvement accounts for hospital, leave out the SPS and the CRF and those that are used by the county treasurer.
Yeah.
Because you have one here. Is this the only one or the others, outside others that I've mentioned?
Yeah, but the number cannot be, I can't give you the number of it.
Chair, maybe you can give them 7 days to provide, outside those that are recognized by the law. Thank you. And on the last part, Chair, where do you have the schedule of these expenses of 11.7 million under the expenses?
Yeah, that can be provided. I mean, it's not part of the audit query now, but we can provide that if ordered to.
Governor, it's not the issue. That is why the Constitution says the Parliament, including this committee, shall consider. The reason you are here is to try and mitigate some of these audit queries. So the fact that it is not part of the audit is to allow you to show the value for money, not only accounting, but the value for money that you have been given. I think that is, and that is why the OAG will say value for money was realized or value of money was not realized. So if Chair, if you can provide that scheduling of that expense of 11.7 million, maybe you can give him a number of days, then before you do your report writing as a committee, you can be able to look at that 11.7 million. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I think we need to make progress, members. The first issue was the issue of the fund accountant. I think the CC, you have said that you are going to reorganize your team. As you reorganize your team, make sure that even the placement of that reorganization has to be taken into account, because this is a bigger fund of 265 million. And then you put there an accountant who is not active and who is not in good standing. It is not small accounts like the other one we have looked at, the emergency. This one is much bigger. So I think that reorganization has to look into such aspects as well. Number two, on this issue of the matter of intercash book transfer, which was reported as an expense, I think you can give us a schedule of the 11.7. We can give you another 1 week to do that to us, so that we confirm that figure with the listing of all the expenses under it. But we are going to issue a general circular to all the counties on the issue of accounting errors. So that it's very clear to all the counties which appear before us on the need to ensure that we do not get accounting errors to become audit queries when they should not, and the possible penalties available to us as a committee, including quoting them for misconduct with the ISPAC, so that we will be able to send out as a general circular, not just to Nandi alone, but to all the counties.
Yeah, Chair, I just want to comment on what your statement just now on professional misconduct, and I wish to point to the committee to Accountants Regulations of 2022, Section 8B, which defines what professional misconduct is, and misstatement constitutes a professional misconduct. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, so you will also help our clerk when drafting that circular to all the counties.
Maybe our legal can read it for the benefit of the governor.
Okay, legal, you can read it.
Okay, it's under the accountant regulations, they are 2022, and regulation 8 is on professional misconduct, whereby it states that further to section 30, subsection 1, paragraph X of the Accountants Act, a member of the institute, that is ISPAC, shall be guilty of professional misconduct if such a member fails to, and the relevant paragraph is B, comply with the institute standards prohibiting falsification of books of account or misstatement. Yes.
Okay. That you will cite it in the letter as well. So let's move to unsupported expenditure. Query on unsupported expenditure, auditor.
Chairman, unsupported expenditure. The statement of financial performance reflects use of goods and services amount of Kenya shillings 39,083,028 as disclosed in Note 7 to the financial statements. The expenditure includes Kenya shillings 1.8 million, Kenya shillings 499,000, and the Kenya shillings 3,811,130 in respect of supply of seedlings, supply of printer, and landscaping respectively, for which the supporting documents were not provided for audit. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor, your response?
Chair, at the time of the audit, the 3 files were misplaced, but later they were found. Attached in this response are copies of the supporting documents, and that is annexure 3.
Auditor, your comments on the response?
Mr. Chairman, we saw the support documents they had, but Chair, we didn't have budgeted for to the point of payment. However, Chair, the support documents which are here, even if they don't have the full documentation, for now they are very adequate, apart from the procurement aspect. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, maybe as an exit comment to the OAG. So it means that you don't know what you want from the client, because if you are telling us the documentation that is here is fairly sufficient, what do you mean? To the governor, and that is why the choice of wording, your liaison should advise you. The choice of your wording will be you'll be falling on your own sword. Chair, just clarity, because I had an issue of loss of funds and misappropriation. Governor, what was the competence and ability of using 3,239,465 shillings to do landscaping and provision of paving of blocks of climate change office? What was the urgency? You know, there are things that are important but not urgent. There are things that are urgent but not important. what was the competency of these 3.2 million in terms of landscaping and paving of blocks? And that is why I don't agree with the word of loss of funds, but I agree with the word of misappropriation of funds. So in this, number one, to the governor, because I have seen the payment schedule, you have given even the one on the taxation, I have seen the issue of family bank that you have been provided, the KRA, the issue of tax or withholding of taxes, the one on swift transfer, and also the tender that you paid for. So in this was it Ketsetsu entrepreneurs, you know, you have stamped with the Climate Change Unit, Nandi County Limited, you have paid this amount, and the IE holder has signed the designation of the officer, but certification and approval 1 and 2 is left blank. So, Chair, what is the second question to the governor? What is the authenticity of this payment voucher, where approval 1, approval 2 was never signed, cash folio number, head of supply chain management never signed, it was signed only by 2 individuals, that is voucher, examined, there was no certification of this payment. That is my question number 3. And then, Governor, where is the a letter from Public Works or even occupation to show that after you have done landscaping and paving of blocks, or is it what do you call the blocks, or is it the cabros? Where is it? Those are my 3 questions, Chair. Thank you.
I think I'll ask Senator Siango to ask, and then those questions can be responded to before we continue.
Chair, looking at what we have been going through on this climate change fund, I'm getting concerned, and I would request the auditor to, because the issues, the summary of the issues are 4, and none is addressed. It concerns us as a committee. 4 issues, none responded, not even partially responded to. It concerns us.
Responded, they have responded. Maybe you should use the word addressed, not responded, they have responded. It's just addressed.
Chair, the message is home.
Okay. Now, Auditor, you have indicated that you didn't have time to go through these documents, and that you do not have a problem with them even as they are, except the procurement aspect. But I can see there are letters attached. There's an award letter which has been, award letters which have been attached. There are minutes of the evaluation committee. There are quotations and all that. What do you say about that? Did you also have a look at this?
Chair,
as you respond to the other queries, we are starting with you. As you respond to the queries by Senator Cheragei, Senator Siengo, and the others, you can include mine there as well.
Chair, can I also?
No, we will do the second round.
Chair, on the aspect of procurement, I said, Chair, I didn't see the budget because initially some of these things need to be budgeted for, and then on the procurement you need to advertise. I didn't see those advertisements for this kind of tender sort of contracts. And then, Chair, we need, because we didn't go verifying on this, we needed to see at least even photos of these exercises which were done, and of course certificates of completion of these works, especially the landscaping. So it has been partially addressed. but not fully. Thank you, Chair.
Chair.
No, but I asked you that whether you had an opportunity to keenly go through all the documents, and when were the documents submitted to you? During the audit or after the audit?
And Chair, just to add on to that question, I can see there is a file which was not availed, which was lost, and it was found later. Can we also know when this file was found? And if the auditor was able to check on this file, which had gotten lost?
Yeah, files.
Auditor?
Mr. Chairman, I was not able to check on these files, and as I've indicated, we need to do fiscal verification of this project. So at this level, we expected to have photographs and certificates of completion of these exercises from the respective engineers and the Master of Public Works. And then, Chair, that's why I said this kind of documentation, they required an initial audit, which we didn't do, but it was done at verification level, and so we are missing those documents. And then we need a time, Chair, to fully interrogate these documents. And of course, undertake fiscal verification.
But Chair, here it indicates that the files were lost, but they were found later. That later were the files brought back to you for perusal.
Sure. During audits, we didn't have these documents, so we are just we got them at this level of when you invited the clients to appear before this committee. So that's the time we got access to these documents.
So through you, Chair, Governor, again, your people are failing you. Because how can files be lost and then found later after the Auditor General has left your offices?
Of Governor responding.
Several questions, Chair. The first one by my senator was the budget or the resources used to do the landscaping. Yes, the program of activities under this fund is spearheaded by a county climate change planning committee. The whole process of how activities are identified through all the way through the approval processes are done. The reason why under this program we had a Mazingira house that was built, the climate change office that was established. There was need to do landscaping to provide space for parking space, but also space where activities and meetings are done. That was done, and I think the file, as indicated, is that we may not have included the pictures, but the events, the contractor who was given the work did the work. There is completion certificate, and the works have been completed. So in terms of the rationale, it is a whole program of activities. So the need to have landscaping and provide space for doing meetings was agreed upon by the county climate change planning committee. There is, in those sets of documents, we have the county, from the public works certificate of completion. Is it there? Yeah, from the public works it is there. The certificate by the engineer is part of Annex 3. It's one of the documents on Annex 3. Yeah, there is summary of statement and the payment certificate. That is part of Annex 3 raised by the engineer. In terms of, we have indicated in our response that the files were misplaced at the time of the audit. Again, that is clear that it was misplaced, but the documents were found, were later retrieved, and this is the misplacement was occasioned by the move. There was a move from the old office to the new office. The new office under, established under this particular fund, and therefore the misplacement of the file happened at that point. But we were able to retrieve, and these are exactly the files that are before us. I agree with the auditor that then he may need time, he definitely needs time to look at them and go and confirm on ground, but the documents are here.
Let's do another round of questions. Senator Bogo. Hello? Oh, where have you been? Huh? Proceed. Put yourself on record.
Chair, my name is Senator Raphael Chimera, Senator from Kwale County, a member of this committee. My apologies, I am just from Kwale. Karibu, Governor.
Thank you, Chair. One part of my question was not answered. Just a quick 30 seconds so that I thought we only have one chair in this committee, and it is you, and Deputy Party Leader of ODM. So, Chair, you need to give a sick leave to Senator Chimera, because all of us might go home sick. Chair, on the issue of Ken-Situ Enterprise, just clarity from the Governor. I have 2 vouchers. Governor, which is your true voucher? In one of the voucher, you are paid 3.8 million for paving and landscaping. In one of the voucher, it is 3.2 million. So which one do we take home? Chair, if you look at the Annex 3, the first voucher is 3.2 million. When you go at the payment voucher for the same company, Ken-Situ Enterprises Limited, is 3.8 million. So why that discrepancy? Because he has voucher at page 21 is 3.2 million for payment with respect to landscaping and provision of blocks of climate change and paving. That is to the same Ken-Situ, and 3.8 to the same company. Does it mean there was double payments of 3.2 and 3.8, or which is the correct voucher in terms of provision of that? And then, Chair, finally, you can answer that, Governor. This supply of 3 seedlings, the OAG has indicated there was no supporting document. Which type of these 3 seedlings of 1.8 million was supplied to who? And is there a schedule of this supply of 1.8 million to this? Because 3 seedlings can be anything. It can be avocado, it can be cypress. So we need to be precise, because I know in accounting, you must be precise with an eye of military marksman. So thank you, Chair. Those are my 2 follow-up questions.
On the voucher, I mean the figures, Chair. I think there is one of the documents there that gives a breakdown. And the breakdown is that the amount that goes to the contractor is 3.2. Then we have a retention of 381. And then we have taxes of, there is 76,000, and then there is 114,000 being also taxes. Then the total figure comes to 3.8. So it's the same work, but then the 3.2 is for the contractor, and the other ones are the retention and the other figures.
So through the Chair, you are saying in this SWIFT RTGS of 3.2, it was paid directly to Kenetsu Enterprises. Where is the retention account? Because I have the SWIFT transfer from Family Bank, and it was paid through Eldoret West Branch, and the code was 070. And then, Governor, to enrich your answer, Tirop Jabet, is he here, supply chain management?
He's not here.
He's not here. He originated on 10th March 2023 of 3.8 on landscaping and provision of paving lakes. This purchase requisition form, climate change. And then Masi Chemutai requested it on 15 March 2023. So there is a bit of discrepancy, even the originator. This is your document. In fact, it has your letterhead, and department has been indicated. So as you reply to that discrepancy, in terms, I've seen the SWIFT RTGS of 3.2 with the chair, but this 3.8 and the evidence of the retention account, because I've just seen the one of taxation that we are provided here.
So the retention fee remains, amount remains within the account, within the fund account.
That's how much?
381,000.
Is it part of your documents to the chair? Is it part of your documentation? Just a moment. Even in the LPO.
So the retention is just part of the bank account, the balances in the fund account. We do not...
Governor, but in your payment voucher, you have indicated you have paid 3.8 million. It is here. In your earlier voucher, you have indicated you have paid 3.2 million. So which one should we take? I thought when you are writing the voucher, it would have exempted the taxation and the retention money that is retained by the in the account, as we have indicated. Chair, this money looks small like chicken change, but it's very serious.
The payment voucher is 3.2.
But in the letter of acceptance, which is part of your documents.
Yeah, but acceptance letter has to give the overall fee, the contract amount.
It's 3.8.
Yeah. If you look at the invoice by the contractor, the invoice 3.2, which is the amount. Yeah.
But I've shown you the discrepancies of the dates of requisition of Tirop, Chavet, and Masi Chemtai in your own document. So my concern is, then why give a forger that you paid Kenetsu 3.8 million as opposed to 3.2? If I am to go with your narrative that you did pay 3.2 because you needed to pay taxation, you needed to pay tariff, then why supply a forger that you gave Kenetsu 3.8 million, which means you violated the law?
The voucher that I have here is 3.2.
So this one we should stand it down, the 3.8 one.
Which one?
This one that is attached in annex number 3.
That is the certificate.
Can I just give out the voucher?
So this is the first voucher of 3.2.
That one, yeah.
3.2. But as you go through your documents, there is another forger that has been signed. Just a moment, it is here. That has been signed.
That is the engineer certificate. The certificate is not up.
This one, Chair, I have it here. Payment voucher, proposed landscaping and provision of paving of the, and it was stamped. This was a payment voucher. What does the payment voucher mean, OAG? Maybe you can go to basics.
Which page are you referring to?
Maybe the governor did not paginate. I'm just skimming through as an industrious person, skimming through comp and tail. Because when you say this, what does it mean when you say payment voucher?
Chair, the first payment was 3.2 to Kensetu, and they stamped paid, and they yield and examined.
But there was no approval 1 and 2.
There was no approval 1 and 2.
What does the law say?
But stamped paid.
What about certification?
So
it's not there.
It's not there. But
so the authenticity of this document cannot be.
Yes, Chair, but it's paid. The first one is paid, stamped.
So let me ask through the Chair, if money is paid but approval process is not followed, what becomes of it? Does it stand the test of time?
No, no,
it falls by the sword. So, Chair, maybe the committee can advise on how we can proceed. Thank you, Chair. I rest my case.
Maybe, Chair, in addition to that, the other payment is not paid. So management maybe can tell the committee what was this they wanted to do.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Chair, maybe I can take the advice of the committee. I rest my case there. Because I know time has been fast spent.
Let me have Governor. Governor, please.
The Chair, allow me to ask the Chief Officer to respond to that.
Chief Officer.
Thank you, Chair. Through the Governor. On the first payment voucher that does not have the signatures of the approval 1 and approval 2, this happens when we are paying using the central bank account, where the signatories are the approval 1 and approval 2. In this case, we are paying using commercial account, and the RTGS SWIFT has the signatures of the signatories.
Chief Officer, through the Chair, no, you know you cannot proceed with an illegality. I thought the Governor said this was through a special purpose account, not a commercial, which means they violate the law. Because all funds, if you ask Jabari, will tell you, all these funds should go through SPS because these are special funds. Correct.
Let's allow her to finish her presentation. Maybe she will, in the process, deal with what you asked.
Thank you, Chair. This was a payment done before the funds were recalled to the special purpose account at the central bank. So we were paying using commercial account then before the National Treasury recalled the funds to the central bank account. So the signatories are the signatories to the commercial account are as per the SWIFT account or RTGS advisories at the commercial pages at Family Bank. So we use approval 1 and approval 2 when we are using the central bank SPA account. Thank you. On to the payment vouchers.
So, Chair, through the Chair, so you used the wrong document to pay because it was not SPA at that point, it was a commercial account.
It was a commercial account, and this is the standard payment voucher that we have in government. We could not design a different payment voucher.
But the document that you did use is you use it to pay a commercial account before it was recorded to the Treasury.
It is part of the attachment documents that we give to commercial account as supporting documents for them to authorize payments at the commercial account. We must attach a payment voucher as well. Thank you.
So what you are saying through the Chair is when you are paying through commercial account, you can use this payment voucher, which is a standard of payment in government, to pay through the commercial bank account.
It is part of the documents that support the checks and the RTGS advisory slip. One of the main documents is a payment voucher.
Through the Chair, Governor, when there is no approval 1 and approval 2, I thought there is the quality of that payment is not authentic. Is it not so? Through the Governor, the OAG?
Chair, when they do internet banking, they have that's when they have the approvals in the system. But for this one, I don't know what it was in system based or it was.
But they are paid through RTGS. Yes. They are paid through SWIFT. So through the Chair, when we are paid through RTGS or SWIFT, if the approvals are in IP, they should have the approval should have been done based on that.
Okay, I want to make
yeah.
Chair, I wanted to find out from the governor, maybe chief of staff through the governor. I believe the standard, some of us are also business people. The standard is if you have an account with a commercial bank and you want to pay a supplier, you said you did the payment voucher. Of course, a contract, if there was a contract between yourselves and the supplier, and finally the RTGS will have the signatories to that account, the signatories. Those are the documents then that we need to see so that it allays the fears that it's not authentic. Because there must be some signatories to the account who are supposed to sign, if it is 1 or 2 or 3.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Member. As part of the attached documents, there is a slip from Family Bank that shows the payment of 3.2 million to Kensetto company, and it has the signatures of the signatories to the commercial account of the Climate Change Fund.
Is there an agreement between yourselves and the bank, the supplier?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, it's part of the attached documents.
Okay.
Thank you.
Members, I think we need to make progress on this because remember we have one fund to go and it's almost 1:30 now. Yeah, so we have to go to the house and you must have lunch also. So my directions.
Chair, is having lunch tied up to where you come from? On a lighter note.
You are my neighbor. You know.
I know you take lunch religiously, so I appreciate it.
Chair, even their sugars are low now. You have not even invited the governor and his team to have tea. And it's here. Their sugars are low now.
Okay.
But the advantage, the governor is still very young, so I don't see that's an issue.
Let me give direction on this matter. I think you listen to the auditor. He said that he did not have time to go through the pieces of evidence which have been submitted, and he needed to confirm a few things. And then members, you have asked a number of questions regarding the same. So my direction is that the auditor will go back and verify the documentation, originals for all these transactions, because one of the file was not available during the time of audit. And then, auditor, you respond to this committee, and I want to give you only 14 days for that. And then moving forward in the subsequent audit engagement, we will want confirmation that the central bank circular is adhered to. Treasury circular on that is adhered to. So I think we will be looking forward for your communication to the committee in 14 days. And Mark, please, we have given so many directions on such, which I have not seen the communication from your office. So you also take charge and ensure that we get that communication in 14 days.
I'm not a chair.
So let's get to the last query. Members, the way forward is that we'll finish this last query and then adjourn. I know we have one more fund, that is a car and mortgage loan fund, and which we may not have time to look at. But since we had withdrawn the responses for the education fund, and I know there is another fund which we did not request for your responses, that is alcoholic drinks fund. So we will then have another session to look at the three funds later. So now we will just cover this one and then the 3 we schedule another time. The clerk will advise on the next meeting when that can be done. So let's look at the last query, which is budget control and performance. Auditor.
Chair, budgetary control and performance. The statement of comparison of budgets and actual amounts reflects final receipts, budgets, and actual amounts on comparable basis of the same amount of Kenya shillings 265,728,422, resulting to 100% budget realization. Similarly, the fund spent 39,083,028 against actual receipts of Kenya shillings 265,728,422, resulting into an under expenditure of Kenya shillings 226,695,394, or 85% of the actual receipts. The underutilization of the budget affected the planned activities and may have impacted negatively on service delivery to the public. My opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Percent occurred due to the late disbursement of the CCRI, which means the County Climate Resilience Initiative funds, to Nandi County. Attached is a bank statement to confirm that the first CCRI of Kenya shillings 148,121,151, and the second CCRI of Kenya shillings 68,456,055, which were received in the account on 11th, 4th, 2024 and 5th of July 2024 respectively. Otherwise, the 85% of the budgeted activities have been undertaken in the financial year, in the subsequent financial year of 2024-2025.
Auditor, your comments on the response?
Thank you, Chair. We are going to engage in the next audit to confirm these activities, whether they were carried out since the funds were received in the current financial year of 2024-2025.
So maybe the Governor, you can make the committee understand verbal explanation how this occurred.
The explanation, Chair, is that there was delay in the disbursements on this fund, and the amount for the financial year under review came in the current financial year. So the activities could not have been undertaken in the last financial year. They were undertaken in the current financial year. So the challenge here is, whereas you have an under expenditure of 85%, that 85% was money that was received in the subsequent financial year, and therefore the activities were undertaken in the financial year, and therefore the next audit on this fund would then capture that expenditure and the activities that were undertaken.
So the 39 was received in 2023-2024?
Yes.
And then the rest was received
in the 2024-2025.
So was there rebudgeting of this?
Yes, supplementary budget we did.
Okay. So members, your comments?
No comment, Chair, but the COG should also put pressure on the executive for the budgets to be released in good time, because they release a budget very late, so that you don't even have time to work. That is why most of the counties are even returning money to Treasury
at the end of the year before working with it because of these delays of the budget. And Chair, I think also this committee should do something about that to help the counties. So it is always unfair when it comes to accountability. We cannot account it properly, Governor. And I saw the communication from COG yesterday over the accountability issue and transparency by the COG. Chair, I have noted a number of things. One is professional misconduct, which all of us agree. The issue of accuracy and disclosure and many others. It points to a bigger problem that, Chair, you must pronounce yourself as the committee. Because if all this, for the three, because I've had the benefit, for the three, the issue of non-disclosure, accuracy, which are basic accounting issues, have not been handled. And you know, Chair, Nandi is not short of professionals. You are our neighbor, and you know very well. If it was other counties, I don't want to name names so that I'm not accused of profiling them, we would be agreeable. But you know, my community, they are good in sciences and maths. So when you say the shortage of accountants or professional misconduct, Chair, then you must be worried as our neighbor, because you know our progress in terms of accounting. Finally, in terms of accountability and prioritization of projects under these funds, Chair, I don't think they were fair and clear. The reason, Chair, we are hard on Governor. CPA, like that, is not new. He has served with the Governor. I don't know whether because he's good at covering up or not. Governor is having his second term. So that is why we are asking these hard questions, because as Governor goes to, I don't know whether he wants to retire or no, although he says he's too young to retire, which is a story for another day. There must be accountability in terms of all this, Chair. And it is disappointing, Chair, that the OAG has indicated, I don't know whether, Governor, you have seen the OAG analysis. All questions and the benefit of the are not satisfactory. Some are either basic errors or some other are serious errors. in terms of movement of cash, Chair. So I want to appeal, the procedure is as good as the outcome. You cannot say since there was no misappropriation of funds and the procedure was wrong is acceptable. It has never been acceptable, Chair. Even you remember on the Isiolo case, the reason that matter collapsed is because of lack of procedure. So I want to appeal to the governor as you go home, please take an action against your officer so that we don't need to escalate this. You know, Chair, I'm embarrassed that we are discussing basic accounting errors instead of real issues, Chair. So with those many remarks, Chair, I thank you for the indulgence of the committee. I hope the committee can schedule the issue of education fund, because I really wanted to know. We have been having a problem on the issue of beneficiaries of bursary. I really wanted to know who are these and which institutions are receiving. So I hope, Chair, you can reschedule as a matter of priority. I know the COG yesterday has a problem in terms of consideration within the financial time, and I don't know whether OAG has received that communication from the COG in terms of consideration within the timelines of that has been provided by law. Chair, with those many remarks, thank you for the hospitality and the indulgence that you have given us as a county. We don't take it lightly. I thank you, Chair, and I submit.
Chair, I think that the comment I wanted to make, first of all, thank you, Governor, for always honoring this committee. This committee is a partner committee. While we're doing oversight, we also ensure that we can be able to give insight, more than oversight. But I think what I have observed, and is emanating from even the comment from the senators and from some of the documents that you have shared here, is just lack of taking keen interest of the audit process. This is what I wanted to raise so much, because auditors are struggling with this. We've got about 7 meetings that are happening, you know, from the entry meeting to exit meeting by the auditors. I think my encouragement will be to take very keen interest on these meetings with the auditors, because those meetings, one of the biggest things that becomes a problem is the nature, content, and kind of documents that are shared by the auditors. And auditors have been very gracious in a number of places where they would, if they notice that there's an anomaly with any documentation, they will raise it, the management letter, in all the meetings that you're having with them. If you don't take the key interest at that point, then your certificate will always be bad, the queries will always be bad. So for instance, just a small issue about on the climate change fund, and I think it was canvassed here. Your officer writes on 15th of March, right, 2023, a requisition, a purchase requisition form that is asking for landscaping provision of paving blocks of 3.8 million. I think you canvassed on this. And then that requisition seeks the management of the supply chain management to recommend whether these funds are available. The management is always responding to confirms it to be on the date of 10th March of the same month. So requisition comes on 15th of the same month. The response comes on 10th. That is 5 days before the renewal was made. That is just lack of keen attention to the documentation that is being provided to the auditors, because there is no way possible this could happen if it was there was keen interest. But other than that, that is the biggest gap that I'm seeing. And I know you might be overwhelmed as a governor, but again, this is why you signed up to be an executive, the CEO of the county. But otherwise, I wish you well together with your team, and thank you, Chair, for the opportunity to also share in this.
Thank you very much, Governor. Your comments.
Thank you, Chair. Always a pleasure to be here in the Senate. Agreed, I've noted a lot of the advice and concerns that you have raised. Perfecting the running and management in counties is a continuous process. You know, the audit opinion here is a qualified audit opinion. When I came in, I found disclaimers and adverts. So there is always room for improvement. We take note of the advices that you have given us. But I can tell you, Chairman, the running of a county and dealing with all these details is not easy. We do a lot of work and put a lot of pressure on this. God willing, the chairman and a few of the senators I see here will be sitting where I am sitting. I am looking forward to an opportunity to sit as chair of this committee in future and have the Vihiga governor then appear before me, and I will take him to task on exactly these issues. You will then understand the complexities sometimes that comes with the
governor of Vihiga,
counties.
the future governor of Vihiga is gaining experience.
And being your neighbor, I hear, I hear what is happening in Vihiga, and I'm very sure that Chair, your ambition is going to be supported. So the explanation really is that there is a lot of work that we can handle as governors, and we take advice in terms of ensuring that all our staff, really ensure that not just confirm that money is not lost, but actually that then in terms of paperwork and documentation that those compliances are there. Thank you, Chairman, for the opportunity. I look forward to continued partnership with this committee. Thank you.
Chair, I forgot to congratulate the governor for the landscaping. The first phase.
Landscaping where? Oh, okay. Thank you. First, let me thank you, Governor, for honoring our invitation to appear before us. You have always done that, and we are happy for that. We are also recognize the fact that you have always cooperated with us, even under difficult circumstances, like we have seen today. So I think your senator is just doing his work as required, but we will always be very objective when you appear before us and any other governors appear before us to address the issues which are there. And one of the issues that we have noted is the issue of preparation and the omissions and the errors in the financial statements. Actually, even the funds that we haven't looked at, like the car loan and mortgage, still has that challenge. So I think CEC for finance and your team, when you go back, please try and address that problem so that we do not have matters which ideally should be in the audit report, appearing in the audit report. So that you must help the county government in addressing that problem. Then the matter of submission of documents, I think we try as much as possible to ensure that the documents which are required during the audit are submitted during that period, so that we do not appear like this committee is reopening an audit. Once a certificate has been issued, that audit report cannot be reopened. It remains final. So we are a bit relaxed on that because we are seeking to be very objective. But legally, once the Auditor General signs off an audit report, it remains final. So allow us to ensure that your documents that are required within the audit circle are provided, so that we don't get ourselves to a situation where we are telling the auditor, please go back, reconfirm, and do this. That is in itself irregular. But we do that because we want to be very objective and we want to be very fair to all parties involved. So, but otherwise, thank you very much. We are going to consider the other remaining funds at a later date, which the clerk is going to communicate to you, so that we also give justice to those other 3 funds which we have not looked at today. As always, thank you very much, and travel home safely as my neighbors. And Reggae has said things here You have a right to seek other offices, just like these senators have a right to become governors, to become MPs. Everyone has a right to choose what he wants.
Actually,
So-
Chairman, help me convince my senator to run for governor. I think my dream come true moment will be for me to sit as a member of, as a friend of this committee and have him here as my governor. And I try to fire from the hip like he does always.
Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned.